Well, Julian is, I mean, if we want to talk about him in terms of character, he's above all kind. And I think that's really one of the methods in which the film shows what it wants to achieve. Julian is a boy with polio in war-torn France in World War II, and he shelters a Jewish girl. The people that I got to work with, and in particular Ariella and all of the wonderful people in the young cast, it was just so fantastic to be able to spend several months with them, bonding and working. The film set was such a great vibe. Mark is so kind and so giving. I genuinely couldn't ask for anything more as a director. Just working with him and being able to collaborate on different ideas, and with his support, it made filming feel so easy. And particularly with the subject material, it made dealing with that in a sensitive manner feel really comfortable, and it really helped me do my best for the film. The film is really there for audiences to watch with an open mind and take away what they will. But for me, above all, it's just the ability to, in any situation and in any scenario, be witness to the events of the world, and to recognize that it's really on us to choose kindness above all. And I think that's really a great way to move forward with everyone. Particularly now, I know we're all really excited because we think that this film is so important to get people to see. Yeah, it's set in World War II. It's set a while ago, but we really think that the message is timeless. The message of kindness is really timeless, and yeah, we just think that it's such a universal message, and it's really applicable in any era and in any context.
Yeah, so this follows after Wonder, and Julian was kicked out of school, and he still hasn't really learned his lesson, which I think is a really interesting kind of thing to learn. Most movies that have bullies in them, they either resolve it at the end or they don't at all. And this it wasn't really resolved that much in Wonder. He apologized, but did he know what he was apologizing for? And I think that's why this one's so interesting, is because he finally really understands the gravity of the hate that he showed in Wonder. It's kind of a full circle thing where he finally gets to complete his arc, and I think that's really important to show that it's possible, Mark, I was a big fan of Mark for a long time. My family watched World War Z a lot when I was growing up. I know it's kind of like a gory movie, but I thought his direction on that was so amazing. So hearing that he would be directing this one, I instantly said yes, no questions asked, let's go. And then hearing that Helen was a part of it, I watched The Queen while in my apartment getting ready to film, and I watched it so close to filming that honestly I got very nervous to meet her because she's so good at what she does. But I realized that a good actor makes you a better actor, and I learned everything that I possibly could from her. She's amazing. Whether it's at a personal level, a historical level, no matter what, it's a very important movie in my opinion. It's an accessible thing a story we've all heard before, but coming at a personal level with Ariella and Orlando, and yeah, I think that's really important.
She starts off as a very normal teenage girl. She's 14 when we first meet her, and she sort of does normal school things. She doesn't like maths. She's got a crush on a boy in her year, and then her life is completely undone when the Nazis invade France, and her school is occupied, and she has to escape, and she's taken in by a classmate and hidden for 2 years. It was just such an honor to meet people like Helen Mirren and Gillian Anderson and Mark as well. It was just so special to meet them. I tried to watch all their movies before, which was just very intimidating, but just to be able to talk to them and become close with them, and they were just so welcoming and comforting, and it was just very, very special. I think the really important thing is the choose kind message, and that when you're in situations where there's an option to be generous, and maybe that option's difficult and maybe you have to choose to be very brave to do that, even a small act can have such a big impact. I think that the messages are relevant a century ago and unfortunately still relevant now and I think the important thing to note is that it's on a small scale with, your friends, people but also on a bigger scale of socially choosing kindness across the whole world would be a good thing for everybody.
R.J. Palacio illustrated and wrote a beautiful graphic novel, and that's when I first received it. And then I received the Mark Bombach's script, and the novel itself was already so beautifully done and illustrated that I immediately knew what kind of story she wanted to tell. And she explores kindness in all of her work, in Wonder and now here in Whitebird. So that was so inspiring. I think these themes are important today because we're living in a very difficult time, and it's important that we find in a time that it's difficult for humanity, that there's light around us, and finding the light in dark times is really important.
Very exciting. It's been a long time coming. We made this film about 4 years ago, and various things happened that stopped its release. So we've all been waiting for its release. And the wonderful, miraculous thing is we all feel that this is the best time for this particular film to be released because of the story it tells about conciliation, about friendship, about courage, about standing up for the underdog, standing up for your fellow man. So I think it's a very, very appropriate time for this film to be shown. And we're thrilled that we're here in New York showing it to the public finally. I play a character who's a very successful person. She's an older person, obviously. She's called grand-mère, which means grandmother, and she's had a very successful life. But she had a very difficult childhood. As a young woman, she got caught up in the Holocaust in the Second World War and had to hide from the Nazis. And she was hidden by a boy that she herself had teased and been rather cruel to at school. So it's a wonderful story about redemption and about the importance of kindness. That is actually the theme of the film, is how very important kindness is. And she's telling her story to her grandson, who has been caught being a bully, being an obnoxious person at school. And she's finally telling him her story, to bring him to an understanding of how important it is to support your fellow mankind. A lovely young cast. I mean, the only cast member that I really worked with was Bryce, because he plays my grandson. A lot of the film takes place in flashback with the wonderful young actors Orlando and Ariel that we have. But Mark is the perfect director for a film like this because he has a great sensibility. He has a great intellectual quality, but that comes with a very feeling heart, which was very important for this piece.